uh, so this would have been a great moment to do a little bit of world building. I will say that the world building has been great so far. Very high fantasy. The author creating a whole like world where other things are happening besides the plot. Love it. It's great. But here's a moment where the elf just keeps writing because they've separated now from the two other individuals that they were with, and so now it's the elf and our two children main characters, Dusty and Rigel. And the elf is riding ahead, and it is nighttime. Normally, creatures like humans who get tired, and Dusty, who is a wild kid, which I will point out is capitalized. Normally, the humans and wild kids would start looking for camp as sun was setting, but the elf doesn't. She should have said right here where night's falling, Dusty's nodding off, and Rigel finally speaks up and says, "Are we getting close?" And then the elf turns around and says, "Oh yeah, we're nearing the border. Another few hours of riding will do it, but I think it can wait till morning." So that would have been a moment for him to be like, "Oh, I forgot that I was traveling with not only children, but children of a different race than me." Very cute. Cute world. The Lisneys have an ability to shoot what looks kind of like something between fire and like red lightning out of their hands, maybe. We have just learned that it's the essence of a Lisney, as essential to them as blood in their veins. I always just love those little like, ooh, what else can this new race do? I mean, that's the fun. That's why we read high fantasy. Oh. Okay. Also have found an inconsistency. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I dislike very much the way that people say, "Oh, I don't read indie books because they don't have good editors." Nonsense. Independently published people absolutely have access to excellent editors nowadays. Not all of them take advantage of that, I will say that. But you can tell pretty quickly whether a book has been edited by a professional of some caliber or not. And I will say too, that is, I'm going to say it, controversial, a lazy excuse for not reading independently published books. Because there are plenty of traditionally published books that have a lot of errors in them. I feel like in general, people are more likely to say, "Oh, well, it's, it must have slipped past the publisher," when it's one of the big publishers. But when you see something like this that is published by themselves, and we see on one page orc is capitalized and on another page orc is not capitalized, I don't want to hear anybody saying, "Oh, well, that's why I don't read indie books." That doesn't affect the reading of the book at all. Yes. Welcome back to the lab. Making our rounds, I see. Very cute. A little cheeky mention of the flat Earth. Just the concept of a flat Earth. Because the new character that they've met has a globe in his house. And the children say, "Oh, is Orlel round?" And he says, "So the stars report," as in the star people. "Then why don't we all walk around upside down?" one of the other kids says. And he arches his eyebrow and says, "Well, I suppose you should save that question for the highlight someday." Very cute. All right, found my favorite word or favorite sentence so far. I like this character. He's very wise, has the feel of the mentor character that Rygel needs. "I believe a true warrior seeks the glory in living each day given to him as well as he can, not glory at the expense of others." Very tasty. And with that, I think it is time to eat a little bit of something and then come back to chapter 10. Oh, it got really dark. I wonder if it's going to rain. Chapter 10. We're now going into a swamp. That's interesting. Referring to a underwater creature's hands as paws. I mean, I guess it's not wrong. It's just weird. I was so wrapped up in the story that I forgot to take a sip of my tea. Oh man. Yeah, it's funny when like you just get so interested and excited, and I like the pacing of the story so far. I don't feel like there's any extraneous parts that I would think, we didn't really need that scene or we didn't need that character. It's following very smoothly, never getting bored, and very exactly the opposite. At the end of each chapter, I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? So it's really funny that I haven't had any tea in like half an hour. Man, that's nice. It hasn't started raining though. It just, the clouds came in and got a little bit chilly. Perfect kind of day to be reading a book. That's very cute. Her eyes were blue and had the sort of kind sparkle that mothers tend to have. Ah, precious. Oh no. What happened to Dandio? I love it. What a great way to end chapter 12. We found a horse with no rider, and Rygel recognizes it as the horse of, how do we say that? Not his friend, but Dandio helped him earlier in the story, and he is a famous warrior. You know, I will say, one thing that's nice about this book is that, so the two main characters are children. They're like in their preteens, somewhere between 10 and 13 years old. And what I like is that the kids are like, they face serious, like dangerous situations, but they are never in those situations for too long, and they always end up meeting up with adults who are kind and want to help them. The bit I just got to is Dusty finds the bloody horse and starts to piece together, oh no, like, Rigel's not back yet, so maybe he's with Dandio or out looking for Dandio. And instead of her just running off, which is very common, and I get it, like, it's not saying that that's a bad way of storytelling, but yeah, a lot of times the child will just run off, and the adult either says, oh, well, you know, I can't go after them, or they're, you know, separated the whole time and have to rescue them from a pretty dire situation. But instead, the adult that's there with Dusty says, okay, I'll get a lantern, let's go together, which it just is like makes more sense in the first place. So there's like a lot of temptation in books with children to make it so that the children are always like alone and can't turn to adults, and that's just not the case most of the time, and it doesn't take away the agency of the children. The children are still like moving the plot forward. They're existing in a bigger, dangerous world, and sometimes they're doing things that are scary and they have to show their bravery and their skills. But it's just nice, you know, that the adults are there and not hindering the children, and it's never like a like push and pull between like, you guys won't let me do what I want to, you know, like that angstiness. It's like, no, they're working together. And especially with a book that's set in a medieval like fantasy world, the kids would have been considered a little bit older. You know, a 12-year-old boy is expected to do all of the like almost all of the same chores as the adults. He has a lot of responsibility, but the adults are still going to be there to help him. They push him enough, but they're there to like a hierarchy, right? They know that he can't have all the responsibility, but also he is almost a man, you know? So anyways, I just kind of like that. I think that's nice. I love it. Chapter 15. Yeah, I feel it. We're getting into the like the exciting bits. So yeah, good stuff. Definitely an emotional roller coaster. So now I think we have all of our information, and it sounds like we're rushing towards the climax, which is hard to tell what it's going to be since this is just book one. So it's not like we're going to be confronting the mini boss or the big boss, you know. And there's only so much you can do to fight these like zombie creatures, but I think maybe what they're going to do is at least work towards their like cure for the zombie spell. That would be my guess. And then like gathering people to recognize that this is a problem. So, because I imagine that the like big huge battle with the big bad and maybe not the zombies anymore, maybe those get taken care of midway, but probably with the final book, all of the stuff that's set up in this book is finally going to get resolved. So who knows? Maybe I'll get to the end of this and say, oh, I can't help it, I need to read the next book in the series. So far, I'm very happy with it. Stick with it.